Hello there guys, welcome back to my channel. It is AvidExpert here, and today I'm going to be showcasing a little bit of a tutorial on the light tanks from Battlefield 1. I'm not sure if you're aware, but tanks are deployed in 3 size variants on Battlefield 1. You have light tanks that are 1 player, you have medium sized tanks that have 3 players, and you have heavy sized tanks that are 5 players. And obviously, the heavier the tank goes, the more armor and guns it has attached to it, as well as the increased player size that can go inside. So you're probably thinking, well, if a 5-man tank, if it just gets heavier armor and it gets heavier guns, what the fuck is the point in going for a light tank? Well, I'll explain that here right now. So basically, the light tank has a few advantages over the heavier tanks. The first one being that it is way more agile. Way more agile. Not only is the speed itself of the tank much higher than the heavier tank, it also can turn much better. And on top of that, it does seem to have a 360-degree rotation on the turret, which is quite a fucking advantage because some of the heavier tanks only have up to 45-degree angles, and some of them don't even center up with the main center of the body, I guess you would call it, the axis. So it generally just feels a bit weird. But then also is the fact that because the 1-man tank is just obviously a 1-man tank, you're going to be shooting it and also driving yourself, so you get to control both features, which gives you a lot more fluidity and a lot more precision on your strategy. Because when you're driving one of the heavier tanks, you'll have separate gunners who are doing stuff such as manning the main cannons that the driver isn't even in charge of, and those cannons are very, very important. And if you don't have that coordination between the driver and gunner, it's going to cause a lot of issues. So that's definitely one of the big advantages, as well as all the other things I just said. There is a little bit more as well. So depending on the tanks you get, you can get loadouts, and this changes the weapons that your tank has. So for the premise of this video, I'm just going to be showcasing off the default standard loadout for the light tank, which gives you a standard heavy cannon, which is used for obviously taking out vehicles, heavy buildings, and just destroying shit. And you have the second one, which is more of a spray shotgun style cannon. It is very, very damaging against infantry, and also can do a heavy amount of damage to some lighter vehicles and planes if you want to shoot at them as they pass, because it kind of has a spread, like I said, similar to a shotgun, but it is still somewhat accurate. Now, going on to the other features as well, you have the ability to repair the tank while you are still inside it, but this does make you unable to shoot and unable to move, but you can still rotate the cannon itself if you wish during this, which is quite an interesting feature. So the weak points of this tank as well are the engine at the back. This is the most fucking destructive point if people hit this. If they get an anti-tank grenade directly on that, or some kind of explosive cannon shot, it is going to disable and destroy your vehicle very quickly. The front of the tank is obviously the most armored, and the left and right sides are where the treads are exposed, and shots on those can disable them, making you unable to move. So that's all for the defensive aspect. Those are the things you should be aware of. Another thing to note is it does seem like the top of the armor is a little bit less armored, so airstrikes and things are going to heavily fucking hit this tank. So what are the good points behind the tank? Well, the first thing is it is an extremely good medium to short range barrage machine. It is more for a close quarters encounters kind of vehicle. If you bar in the agility it has mixed in with the innate amount of firepower that it can just keep firing shell after shell after shell while being able to move very, very tightly and quickly, it is quite a good close quarters combat vehicle. Now, on top of that, it is very good at making hit and runs on other vehicles and getting out of the zone, and it does have a surprising amount of armor. Do not be fooled by the name light tank. This thing can still tank a fucking shitload of cannon fire, fucking anti-tank rounds, and all sorts. It is a beast. It can even take an airstrike directly on no problem. Now, the tanks are also protective against gas, so if you are going up against gas and you are just curious, you are protected against that. Do not worry, you can just drive right through it. So another thing I want to say as well about this vehicle is the tooth, which is your shotgun pellet basically. It is extremely accurate at taking out infantry. I was so fucking surprised at this. I did an entire round going 44-0 almost just using that weapon exclusively. That shotgun pellet is accurate up to probably 100 to 150 meters for an insta kill, and it does a surprising amount of damage against planes if you can catch them flying low. So guys, I think this vehicle compared to the medium heavy tanks definitely has its uses, but what I would say for this tank is you definitely want to just keep on the move. The agility is the main point behind this tank. You do not want to be sitting around too often. You want to keep using it to keep pushes. But if you are being pushed back with the vehicle, you do not have to hesitate between retreating, because you can move faster than the other vehicles in the game for the most part, and you also will move faster than infantry. It is an extremely good vehicle, guys. I would definitely implore you testing this vehicle out. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, guys, do please leave a like and a subscribe. This is the first video of this type I'm making. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on the next video. I just wanted to get this one out a little bit more quicker, so I apologize for the quality. But I'm just going to wrap it up here, guys. So like I said, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and a subscribe, and I will release more future content. So without any further delay, guys, take care.